It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. And some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend of Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday. Look at that. This week sure went by quickly. Everybody's doing good. Living another amazing day in paradise. Wowee. Yeah. Good morning, honey child. Kind Cayman on Instagram says, good morning, honey child. And the Cayman Islands have a blessed and victorious day in the Lord. Well, we know who that has to be. Miss Amelia, you go on and get yourself a Instagram account. Mess with you. Yes, sir. So you got Facebook and Instagram? I hear you there. Oh, my goodness. Look at our little TD. At her age, grandma learning how to use Instagram. Yes, sir. I hope you're not chasing down Cartel. No, you know. Tell me that's not what you're doing. You're trying to follow Cartel on IG or what? Oh, Mr. Amelia. I hate to tell you, but that show tomorrow gonna be lit. I see all them people buying tickets yesterday. Now they're gonna tell you they're not going for Cartel, they're going for Nelly. But you sit there. They enjoy them a little bit of Cartel at the same time. So I don't know what to tell you. But y'all have your little protests planned as well. So I'm going to wish you all the best with that. Please be safe. Hopefully the weather holds up for everyone. And yeah, it will be a victorious day in the Lord for everybody. You just got to be safe out there, folks. All right. So lots of plans for the weekend. Art Week, Cayman Art Week has kicked off. And so make sure that you are enjoying some of those very, very healthy events as well. going well, and celebrating Caymanian artists. Oh, we got a caller. Bright and early this morning. Hello, honey child. Let me see. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, honey child. What you doing?
Honey, don't have to tell me today. You is the most disgusting,
Lord
despicable
have mercy.
me to tell you that I ever come across. Sandy, I am praying for you.
Girl, thank you.
Ask the good Lord
Thank you
to
so
help
much.
you to find him, but seek him.
I
serve
appreciate,
him,
oh,
and
I
enjoy
appreciate
the
your
glory of
prayers.
God. Oh my gosh, what
I
I do with you, Sandy?
I appreciate your
Sandy,
prayers.
what am I going to do?
Everybody needs prayers. Why Cartel got you so bunched up? That's what I'm trying to understand.
The filthiness.
Cause what?
The filthiness. You thought this man
Miss Ramelia.
Hold on. You asked me a question. Let me
Okay.
answer you.
All right, honey chill.
We have God, Jesus, and woman part in the same sentence. You child. That is disgusting. The disgustingness. You know, I saw on YouTube.
Hold on. Stick a pin. Let me ask you a question about what you just said. So you're listening to Cartel's music, and you said that he's talking about guard and women parts in the same sentence?
In the same sentence.
Well, what are you doing listening to him?
After I started digging to see who he was, who he
So
is, what his character is, and what he's all about.
Lord God. So you went and listened to him?
If I went on YouTube and pull up all what you find about him.
Let me ask you a serious question now. Did your foot start to tap and jiggle a little bit?
You know, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Oh, the devil is a liar from the pit of hell.
It's a good thing the good Lord gave us humor.
Hallelujah. And guess what? What am I doing right now? I'm going to find me some nice, beautiful plant.
Yes, sir.
With some scrambled eggs and some fried beans.
Oh, beans. That's a Spanish thing you doing there now. What about that breadfruit? Where the breadfruit at?
No, the plantain take the breadfruit place.
Oh, okay. I hear you there.
So all I'm missing is some good old Honduran white butter.
Yes, sir. They don't have that in Cayman.
That is where I'm at right now, but I can't. But I prayed and I put that into God's hand. I hope and pray it rain out. That every soul, that it rain.
No, bueno. That's not nice, Miss Ramelia.
That is nice as it gets. We don't need that here. We don't need our children or what kind of influence?
But here's the thing, right?
This man bringing to the silent Sandy.
This is the thing. This is the thing. I don't. Hold on, Miss Amelia. Hold on now. Because this is a very serious question. Because somebody asked me the other day, "Oh, is Cartel going to be curtailing what he says because kids are going to be in attendance?" Why would you send a child to an event like this? I don't care who it is.
Sandy, I am learning 13, 14, 15-year-olds got tickets.
The parents must keep their children at home.
You know another thing?
What?
We got our young children attending this thing. Number one.
And I know we keep your children home.
How many people are on NAU that purchase $180 ticket, $200 ticket, $400 ticket?
The same ones that every weekend get nail and hair done. So that's a very different matter. That I got nothing to do with Cartel. Every concert they be at Henry Street. Yeah,
I know they have anything to do, but I'm just saying. We got the silliest people in the Cayman Islands. Cartel going back to Jamaica with his pockets full.
Actually, I think he's in the UK. But anyway, you know he got English woman now, my dear child. So he living his best life over there.
Then the next day they die with hunger after Cartel going with all these.
Well, they do that every weekend. They were just out last weekend at Carnival, and they spent $400 or $500 for Carnival outfit. Not even to attend the event, just the outfit. And then they attend the event, and then they got drink and everything else, and they wasting money on that too.
It's like I was.
Those are issues that don't have nothing to do with Cartel, and it happens every time there's a function here.
And you will be there.
Well, tell the head of NAU to go out there and sit down at the gate and start taking down some names. But that I got nothing to do with Cartel. And I'll tell you what, there have been performers here who have come to Cayman have a much more vulgar mouth than Cartel, and you not up in your feelings about them. So I feel like
I don't follow it.
you know what happened. You know what. I got suspicion. Now you know. Let me tell you what I think is going on.
Randy, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus before you even say it.
Because you know a good joke coming. Not true. I think you call Cartel and you were like, Sir Cartel, I need a little $5,000-$10,000 for my van. Can you help me? And he said, no, honey child.
Newsflash. This is a perfect time for me to do this as well.
Oh, yes. Tell me.
So let me tell you, my fellow Caymanians,
yes,
all those who contributed, who gave in donations for me to get my van.
Yes.
I humbly thank you. I humbly thank you from the bottom of my heart because I have gotten a van.
Look at that.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
I am so happy. Yes, I'm so happy for you, Mr. Amelia. I really am, because I know now you're back on the road to be able to torment poor Cartel.
Sandy, child, and I got time for him. And times I done prayed, and I put him in the hands of the Lord. Lord, let your will be done. Bring my people closer to you, to acknowledge you, and to accept you as Lord and Savior before it's too late, because we got tons of Antichrist walking about the Cayman Islands today. Our blessed Cayman Islands, they have tons of Antichrist in here. But I, Remelia Delta Welcome, believe that Jesus Christ came into this world. He was born by his mother Mary, and he died on that cross for my sins. He died, rose the third day, and now at the right hand of God. And I believe, and I trust, and I am dependent on him. Hallelujah.
Yes, I'm going to give you another hallelujah. There you go, honey child. Go and enjoy that breakfast. You are most welcome.
Leave me in peace.
Have some for me. Have some for me. All right, honey child. 9362626. We got a few little minutes, honey, before the minister comes on. And what a hot mess. Yes, sir. I tell you, I suspicious, I don't know why her hung up is with poor Cartel. No, sir. And kind of different still. He'll be arriving today, performing, and then leaving on Sunday. I'm sure he's not going to be staying in your country. What should say? He can get his bag of money and leave. Well, the Caymanian promoters who are putting on this event have done a wonderful and amazing job. Looks like it's well organized. And when it comes to children, I don't know what's wrong with you all, but this is not, just like I tell y'all, don't send your children to Badabanu. It is not a child-friendly event. Simple Simon, right? There's certain things that children don't get involved in. Talking about, I got a 9-year-old. She could be 15 and she would be going, right? Put restrictions on your kids, folks. It can't be that difficult. Like, seriously, what on earth? Cha. Anyway, we got some messages and comments coming in. So let's have a look and see what's going on. I just think y'all obsessing about all the wrong things. Y'all need to sit down with your family members and offer them some words of wisdom and attempts at deliverance. And ultimately, people have a choice, right? Jesus walked this earth and he wasn't trying to force nobody. He said, you got a choice, A or B. If you choose A, I'm going to promise you eternal life. If you choose B, you will get eternal damnation. So you got your choice. You see him going around trying to beat anybody over the head with the Bible? Well, the Bible didn't exist, I suppose, but you don't understand what I'm saying. Leave people alone with their choices. Yes, we will all sit back and raise an eyebrow, just like we did with Carnival. Like, ooh, why are they wearing that? Lord have mercy. No decency. But it's so funny how Mr. Amelia never called in about the Carnival not decent stuff going on. No, I don't know. You see, I'm saying like something not right, man. There's an obsession with this Cartel man. No, sir. What a hot mess. Anyway, he will be here. And she says she hope it rains out. Imagine if people said that, because the Christian people are going to have a march tomorrow. They're marching for Jesus. I wish that they would march for all the child abuse that's happening in this country. Like, I honestly think that they should take that vibe on, right? That would be such a worthy cause. But anyway, they're going to be marching tomorrow. And so imagine if someone said, well, I hope it rains tomorrow. What if it rains in the morning and then there's perfect weather at night? Nice cool breezes when Cartel is performing. Are y'all going to be like, that was the good Lord, honey child, that fixed them Christians and blessed Cartel? No. These things just happen. It's called the weather, right? Let me see what it's looking like outside. Let me have a quick little look. Look pretty good, you know. I see the neighbor's mango tree waving in the breeze. So we can see what tomorrow brings, but, you know, hot mess. Good morning, Dean. Damaris, how you doing? Abby says, can we get Remelia's opinion on K-Mass? Like I tell you, Sheena got one word to say about no carnival. I notice it, you know. I hear in the foolishness and wondering myself, what on earth is going on? No, sir. Special. Andrew's in the house. Good morning to you, darling. Nobody is disgustingly more than you church people, says Irvelin. Oh, Jesus. Speaking of disgusting and church people in the same sentence, un momento, por favor. Hold on now. Hold on. Let me show y'all this one that somebody just sent me this morning, because y'all gonna have a good little chuckle at this message that I got at 7:32 in la mañana. Okay, hold on. Hold on, mamacita. She having her Honduran beans head this morning. Give me 1 second. I gotta pull this one up for you. The poor minister, he had come in on the tail of this hot and heavy conversation this morning. Poor Honorable Ralston England. All right. But look at what somebody sent me. Y'all gonna have a good little chuckle at this one. Here we go. Somebody sent this and they said, oops, hold on. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, honey chan. They said, look at this, Auntie. Look at Patrick from the Tourism Attractions Authority. And I had to laugh. Speaking of pastors and church people that just no good. Ay, caramba. Mira aquí. El Dio. Good Lord, come and look at this one. Tell me he got podcasts, Bible study. Pastor Thompson and Bishop Whitaker. Light of the World Christian Fellowship. Meanwhile, the level of fornication, of let me go look up their Facebook page. Light of the World. Yes, sir. They lighten something up. But what's it called? Light of the World Christian Fellowship. Yeah, they're building that church next to the gym. I guess they'll go from one to the next. But the amount of scandalousness that these pastors be going on with, right? I am honestly shocked and surprised that they have the audacity to even sit down and put a podcast together. I'm just like, really? Wow. What a hot mess and then some. Huh. But as Irvelin said, some, I can't put all church people in the same basket because they're not all the same, but some of them, they all about the show. The shiny shoes, the shiny bald head, wearing the best tie and suit, and doing all kind of stuff with government money and hiring people who are not qualified and having inappropriate relationships with the people who are under them, literally and figuratively, and all this kind of stuff. And then they can get up and talk about Elder Thompson. What? He's an elder? No, sir. Y'all need to do better. Y'all need to do better than this. Evelyn says she has no business listening to Cartel. Now that is some deep research. That is when you are so bothered that you can actually go and listen to the man's lyrics. Say what? I was shocked when Mr. Amelia just told me that though. I bet you she probably low-key enjoyed it. She was sitting there tapping her foot. And all of a sudden she started feel a little twerk coming on. Then she stopped herself. I can't listen to any more of this man. Evelyn says she has no business listening to Cartel. Danielle says, good morning, all. I rebuke that. She rebuking that green because guess what? She going to be out there tomorrow. Lady, go read your Bible. Worse than him, come here. Aye. That's the thing, though. I don't think they're paying attention. They're caught up, I guess, because Cartel's name is so bigly. They're really caught up on him when they just need to relax. Because if they see what coming here every weekend, that is way worse than him, honey child. They better start getting the full itinerary of events so they can know what's happening. Strong Will says Ramelia needs to pray for herself and her family. She got time to listen to Cartel. Mr. Amelia, you're not really, getting too many points of support on this one, I must tell you. Everybody kind of looking at this with a side eye like, what? Here's a comment that came in on WhatsApp. Good morning, Sandy. It blows my mind to hear what Ramelia goes on with nowadays. I'm glad she's found religion, but she needs to cast her mind back to the way she was. Once she was young and wild. Welcome to Cayman vibes. Yes, sir. This is where it's at this morning. Evelyn also asked, did she have the same energy for Carnival? Not a word, not a peep. Crickets. Wee, good morning to you. Good morning, Marshall. Johan. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Johan, you need to behave yourself. Talking about our 9:30 segment is far worse than Cartel, and she's a Caymanian. Go sit down. Back in the naughty corner you go. At this rate, you'll never get out of phone jail. Oh my gosh. Johan says, who besides Cartel is getting blazed up today? Definitely not Cartel. We're going to say, as Abby says here on this one, mind your business. Top 3 Caymanian sayings. Will she be carrying any passengers going to the show? Ask her auntie if she will refuse the fare. She said here she's going to refuse with all pleasure. Mr. Amelia don't work past a certain time at night, so she wouldn't be out anyway. Good morning, Miss Lucille, joining us from the UK. How are you? Richard says that's the kind of energy we all need against Mr. Larry's application for permanent residency. Yes. Oh my gosh, Richard, I love that. Thank you so much. Mr. Amelia, have you signed the petition? Call in and talk about Larry. Have that energy for Larry. That's right, Richard. Richard is a Caymanian joining us from Round Rock, Texas. Ramelia says, honey child, I spoke to her premier about the carnival. I'm sure he was like, the look on his face was like, really, Ramelia? That's all you got to talk to me about? Strong Will says, auntie, I totally agree with you. Johan says, is there a new number to call in? I need to ask your guest a few clarification. You better not. Think about it. KK, is that you? Says they're sick. Protest for the rapists and whoever kiss my teeth, find something to do. Waking Up the Cayman Islands said, I saw Bad Banu online and it was boring and nasty. Lord Jesus. KK says, and I have strength for Cartel. Hashtag brownie withdrawals, says Abby. Right, Abby? Yes. Morning, Miss Marjorie. Biggest hypocrites go to church, says KK. People need to stop thinking everyone that go to church is a saint. That right there needed a kaboom. Because the truth is, when it comes to sainthood, I'm going to say probably 25% even really trying. The rest are just fronting. They just want to say, like I said, put on a suit and look good. That's all. That is all that's going on. Oh my goodness, she's going to rebuke me in the name of the Jesus. Oh my God. Hallelujah. Morning, Tartarian. Who? Who's Whitaker? Whitaker still, yeah. He lacking. He must be a mass status grant. Whitaker. Who's Whitaker? I'm confused. Good morning, Miss. Oh, you're home, Anne. Hello, madam. Welcome back to the 345 from the, I was going to say 813, but that's probably not even your area code anymore in Florida, in Tampa. They probably ran out of 813 a long time ago. Good morning. Call me. Yes. Let me turn off Patrick. I was accidentally watching it in the background. Don't want to give him any more views. Charm says, good morning. They got mouth for cartel about when children are getting abused, church mouse. But when children are getting abused, church mouse. Morning, Sophia. Romelia says I should stop calling her out. We spoke and I told you I signed it a long time ago. Oh, thank you, ma'am. Very good. I couldn't remember, to be honest. But more and more people are signing it. Please sign the petition. Last couple of days now for that before it gets submitted to the PR board. Okay? So do your part. Strong Will says that's what she get too fast and she need a Jamaican husband to keep her focus. Who are we talking about? Miss Amelia? Miss Amelia needs a Jamaican husband? Ooh, she gonna start rebuking you, Strong Will. Lord have mercy. I think she had one already. You still got him around, Miss Amelia? What you did with him? Because I'm not too sure he was into the church business quite the same. But anyway, yes, sir. Blissful Power says, freedom for your hand, Auntie Sandy. You know he gives a vibe. How about we don't allow him to call in except after 9:30 when his mouth does not need a filter? Mm-hmm. Irvin says, Auntie, plead the blood of Jesus against her, the devil. I'm just saying. I'm not getting it. No. Oh, Bishop Whitaker next to Thompson. Oh, I don't even know who these people are. What do you say? Let me go back and read that comment. Whitaker still, yeah. He must be a okay. I got it. I didn't know which Whitaker you're talking about. Hot mess. Good morning, folks. The radio folks is like, what's going on? We need to see this. What's happening in the comment section? It's crazy this morning. This is where it's at. LMAO, says KK. Yes, I agree. Free up on your hand, Lord Jesus. You see, your hand has not sincerely apologized. And I tell you what, I'm a fair person, and I feel like I give people too many chances. And that is why some people like to try me the way that they do, right? Because 80% of the time, I'm going to be respectful, even when they be trying to come at me, right? I'm just going to be like, You might see it on my face because the face can't lie. So the face is like, why are you talking to me with this foolishness? But my mouth is going to be respectful. That's about 80% of the time, I would say. And so I think I give people too many chances, right? And so then they think, oh, I can keep doing this and I can keep getting away with it. And Auntie not gonna do nothing. And that is a mistake that you should never make, because every single time you are crossing the line, Auntie making notes. I'm like, you crossing the line with me again? Not if you're bright. So I think I need to do better myself and not give people so many chances. That's the thing. And that wasn't your hand's only time, So I don't know. I really don't know if I should be giving him any more chances. Y'all rolling hard for him though, Johan. You should be thankful you got so many people in the community willing to fight for you. Speaking of giving people too many chances, and once you have had enough, once enough is enough, and you see when I'm done, that's it. Auntie got to take care of business. Here's a perfect example of that. For years, I have tolerated a lot from this individual, Carrie Rosita Whitaker. Really and truly, you guys have no idea. The back and forth. Yes, and people's like, oh, but Auntie, I thought she was your best friend. I was like, in what universe would you have thought that? But it's because, you see what I'm telling you? Niceness, this what niceness gets you. I was too nice. Sitting here, allowing people to call in, give their opinion, just smiling and being cordial. And y'all misread that. Y'all were thinking, oh, that means that, oh, that's her BFF. And oh, she's saying how she loves her show and she agrees. And Sandy just sitting there smiling. But if you know, you know. When you see me smiling like this, not the right smile. That's not a genuine smile. That's a thank you for your madness this morning smile. Okay? And let's just keep the conversation going. But look at how much I've tolerated. The woman has been blocked before in our platform, begged me to unblock her. And I did that because I be giving people chances that you all don't even know. And then that is why they want to be trying to abuse me, right? Because I look like I'm meek and humble and I'm going to continue to tolerate it. But as Aunt Lottie used to say, you can take the bucket to the well every single day, and one day the bottom gonna fall out. So the bottom fell out. I had enough. Okay? And when I have enough, business is going to be taken care of. And so, here we are. A penal order is now in place if this woman has one more defamatory thing to say about me. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something to explain how this works. We had an emergency hearing day before yesterday. She had the option to show up. The Zoom link was sent to her. She did not show up. Some people are cowards when it comes down to it, True cowards. Didn't show up. The judge granted it. It was my responsibility to draft it, and I did my best. I'm no lawyer, but I did my best, and I drafted it. He had his secretary redraft the whole thing. And I was shocked and surprised when I saw this because I have never seen in all of my years looking at court documents online, looking at filings and whatever. I have never, and I do mean never, because I've gotten these orders myself when we were litigating with, different people back and forth. Nobody ever won anything, but in the litigation stage, you get these stop orders and whatever, and they have a penal notice. I have never seen a judge order that a penal notice be put in bold, red text. Never, ever, ever. And what I had in my draft didn't even have all the rest of this. He had his secretary add any other person who knows of this restraint order, and that's why I'm putting this, the story has been written to put everybody else on notice, any other person who knows of this restraint order and does anything which helps or permits Carrie Rosita Whitaker to breach this order may also be held to be in contempt of court and may be imprisoned, fined, or have their assets seized. I have never even seen that clause either added to it. So I thank the judge very much for understanding the serious nature of this. KK says about time. And here we are now, right? And we now go through the rest of the process. This is just the first step. It's not over. This is the beginning. The order is in place to stop any further egregious acts, because that's only going to increase the damages that I'm going to be entitled to. So the court has an obligation to mitigate that as much as possible. So there we go. Now we continue. and I'll keep you guys updated as we go along. Blissful Powell says, Auntie Sandy, the show name speaks for itself. I respect your principles, but gosh, man, not Johan. Please free him up. Y'all forget it's only today's 2 weeks since Johan misbehaved. He can't come out of jail yet. Even if I was contemplating it, you know, when you give your children punishment, but they make you soft. They come and be hugging you up. Oh, mommy, mama, this and that, whatever. And you get soft again. You're like, okay, I can give you the iPad back. You got to stand firm. Not too soon, because they never truly learn the message. So Johan can't come out. Y'all put me under pressure. I'm starting to sweat. Whew, look at that. Sweat beads. Blissful Powell says, Carrie needed whatever she gets. Just her mouth alone tells it. Johan should not be compared to her. Not valid. Well, they're comparable in the sense that they're both in jail. So, I mean, but she will never. Oh, no. Let me be honest, right? I would think about Johan, not that he probably will get out, but at least I would think about it for him. I would never even think about it for her. And there is a difference, right? The level of disrespect, right? But at the same time, let's be honest now, I do not believe that Johan has made a sincere apology, not just to me and this platform, but to the good minister. He should apologize. If he was a right-thinking man, he should apologize to Ralston. I gotta say it. There you go. And Johan not gonna like that this morning, but that's his business. Speaking of the minister, where is he? Let me see. Something must have happened. Oh, are we gonna have open mic today, or is he still coming on? Miss Amelia back in the day was the biggest slag. I don't know what slag means, but probably not good. Hello, Miss Sandra. I'm trying to get in contact with you. Okay. Hello. You did it. You messaged me. Leave Cartel alone. He without sin cast the first stone. Hot mess. Good morning, Chica. You good? I'm here to cover you and all our family under the precious blood of Jesus. Heavenly Father, please lead our family, friends and foe, out of darkness into your marvelous light. All right, honey child, thanks. Oh, Lord. So I think that maybe the minister isn't coming, and then we can have, maybe we'll do like an open mic Q&A segment today. I mean, I was ready for him, ready to go, but something must have come up. Okay, she needs to go sit down. Oh my God, you guys cannot bring, no. You can't bring the child into it. All right, she says, what happened to so-and-so? A particular child of Miss Romelia who was an NEU and outside. Cartel is a better human than her every day of the week. At least he's not a hypocrite. Lord Jesus. Y'all coming hard for poor Miss Romelia today. She's gonna have to eat some more beans. Yikes. I know she can handle it though. She'll be all right. What a hot mess. Okay. Well, hold on. We got more coming. True Lioness, do you, my Leo Queen? Thank you, madam. Miss Dean, you know. Gentle but firm when we need to be. Auntie, the minister's coming on. Ask Johan to apologize and then unblock him, please. But that's not, listen, I should not even have to say that, because if Johan was a right-thinking person, listen to him talking about libertad, he would do that of his own volition, right? If someone is like genuinely sorry, you don't have to ask them for an apology. They give it because it's the right thing to do. Omiria says Johan has a lot of people rooting for him, even the one that call him Anthony. Yes, free him up, Auntie. Who calls him Anthony? What did he say about the minister? I did not hear. Oh, poor Marjorie. You have to, I'm not going to repeat that. No. Blissful says, okay, Johan, will an apology hurt? Come on, show us differently. That as Caymanians, we can agree to disagree and still be within our manners. Johan, your turn. But we shouldn't be begging Johan for an apology. He should do it on his own accord. You understand? I'm in jail for speeding ticket with the criminals, mass murderers, crazies, and corrupt politicos. Really? So see, he doesn't even think what he did warrants an apology. You see the attitude? Low key. That sounds like narcissistic syndrome to me, Johan. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, as them old people would say. It's feeling hot in here today. What's going on with the temperature? Child, when CUC was here, somebody turn off the AC. No, hold on. When it says 75, but they don't feel like no 75 to me. I got to drop that a little bit. Ooh, feeling warm. I got to get one of those desk fans now. Maybe this is menopause. I don't know. Is it here? Is it coming? Abby says, let Johan call in and apologize. Poor Alejandro is there with you for a spliff. Him and Johan can sit down and have a spliff together. She's not going to be able to figure that one out, John LaRue. Oh, my goodness. What's the number calling now? Hot flashes. I'm beginning to wonder, Sophia. No, sir. 6-month probation. Vanessa says keep him in jail for 6 months. Or let him out and then give him 6 months probation. No. Marshall says people need to remember that Ermelia just found God yesterday. She was always on the streets doing the most. Now she wants to be more holy than Jesus. Y'all are so redunculous. Honestly. What you say? More holy than Jesus? No, sir. I gotta keep that one. That's a good one. She needs to read her Bible and worry about her own soul. Oh my God. No, man. Y'all not easy. No, sir. I can't even. It's Friday. Is it Friday the 13th? Y'all are so bad today. Oh my God. Johan called me my private number. Now, I can't answer you. There's nobody here for you to apologize to. You're not apologizing to me again with that half bonky apology that you tried. That wasn't cutting it either. I'm not accepting that. Nope. No, and no. I don't know what's going on with the minister. Oh, Miss Amelia showed me a plate of her food. What is that plantain for you? Geez, peace. That's a lot. I'm not listening here. I love a good plantain, but geez, that's plantain for lunch, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's like a whole supply of plantain. She listened. She said, y'all mess with me. I gotta just sit here and eat my food. But is that a piece of pound bread? Pound cake? What is that? Is that cake for breakfast? You're eating pound cake for breakfast? What the heck? Does not look like pound cake to you? And look at how many pieces of plantain you got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I count at least 10 slices of plantain. So you're not having eggs or plantain. You're plantain with eggs and beans. The plantain is the main course in this meal. Wow. Oh my God. Girl, I love plantain, but geez, peace. That is a lot. Can we talk about something? Can we talk about something else besides Johan? Move on. Ooh, that one of them that don't want Johan to get unblocked. Oh my gosh. No need to unlock your. Ooh, honey child. The next side has stepped into the arena. Hold on. Let me screen grab this one because y'all not gonna believe me. You're gonna say, Auntie, you making that up? Because you don't want to unblock Johan. OMG. No, sir. This person's like, hell to the no, 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 no. We are not unblocking him today. Yikes. Give me 1 second here. I'm coming right up. I feel like we should do a poll. But y'all know what I said at the beginning, right? That he not getting unblocked. So I am a woman of my word. Mr. Amelia said, boy, you sickening. I know, honey chill. But real and truly, still trying to figure out if you eating pound cake for breakfast. Which daughter stole from A.L. Thompson? No, sir. How many daughters Mr. Amelia got? Y'all better not be messing with my Cindy neither. Which daughter? Oh my God. Y'all gone too far now. Too far for a Friday before 9:30. You just called to apologize again. Like I told you, it's not me you need to apologize to now. Isle says, I agree. First worry about your own home. Fix all of the broken relationships there, then protest against the pedos who we have in this country. Leave vibes and the gays alone. What? Mr. Amelia says all prison doors should be open since our government sponsored this kind of behavior. What message are we sent? Really, Mr. Amelia? All prison doors should be open. No, sir. Not logical now. Blissful said, don't beat Amelia too bad. She was in the streets, but now she found God. But she allowed the souls to choose their path. She started it, says Danielle. This wasn't even the topic for today. She did call in and kick it off. John LaRue sounds like Miss Welcome has some skeletons. Well, to be fair, we all do to some extent, but some got about, 2 closets full. Some might have 1, some might have 3. And so I think what it is people will just say, look here, ease up yourself, because they remember a lot of things from the Santeria down in Smith Cove in the bush, trying to help Sherry Ann to keep man and all kind of foolishness. Yeah, people talks and people remembers plenty. And as the good folks say, my Aunt Lotta used to say this all the time, every saint has a past and every sinner got a future, hopefully. I wasn't too sure about the sinner part because I used to say to her, but what if the sinner dies before that future? Then they don't really have a future because they didn't make it right beforehand. She would tell me I'd be thinking too hard on it. But she used to say that. In other words, no one is perfect. Not even Mr. Amelia. Not even now that she's a Christian, because she still wants to sit down and listen to Vibes Cartel talking foolishness about she's trying to do homework on behalf of the Lord. The Lord is like, girl, please, I don't need you to do no homework for me. Just saying. All right. Sophia says that Miss Amelia was a hot girl back in her day. So me here. I never know, but so me here. But that's all right. Shows that all of you now that are hot gals out for carnival, there's hope for you yet that you could be like Mr. Amelia one day. I'm just saying, if that's what you want to do. Come on through, honey child. All right, let's read a few more of your comments that are coming in. Y'all making me laugh too much today. You need to do better. Oh, I need to edit this. Oh, I gotta tell you, I almost pulled up a comment that was actually incorrect. So let me just fix something real quick. That would have been funny. All right, 9362626. El teléfono, el número de teléfono. Phone lines are open. How do I say phone lines are open in Spanish? What's phone lines? All right, let's move on. We need to fight against the ones who are after girl children and boys and people who's like Larry, says KK. Let's not forget, folks, when this fight against child molesters is not just for the girls, it's for the girls and boys. Lots of our little boys are victims. And unfortunately, their plight does not get, discussed and addressed enough in our community. So always remember them, please, and thank you. KK say, let's come off her name. Amelia says, Sandy can't keep a secret, Oh, I be keeping plenty. FYI, enough of them, says Sophia, was in the street and found God. So we should be happy for all of them that found God. Rest the woman now, man. Okay. Lucille says, Sandy, he's going to apologize when Raleigh comes on. Please, I'm begging for him. Well, y'all got some begative ways for Johan, man. Johan, you still got him fooled. You still got him all fooled that you actually really care. Hot mess. Now look at Live Happy. I heard Alejandro on radio came out. He's matured very well. He speaks eloquently and in a more controlled manner. Yep, Alejandro has grown for the better. Proud of him so far. Oh, maybe he stopped smoking that Mary Jean, because, that makes your brain kind of foggy and loopy and stuff like that and make you talk pure foolishness. So, exactly, Mr. Amelia. I've never heard this story about no A.L. Thompson's stealing from cash pan. I don't know nothing about that. To be resurrecting what people did in the past is one of those bad mind traits that continuously holds many back, says Real Deal. And Real Deal is true. I mean, human frailty, we certainly do that. Miss Marjorie says, last week my grandson and I went to Latin Taste and they gave me a whole pile of plantains, too much for one. Still have some in the fridge. I mean, look here now. I'm never going to complain about too many plantains. I'm going to be honest about that. However, I just make it a little fun with Miss Amelia. All right. This commenter says, good morning. Please tell Mr. Amelia to go sit down. It's not Johan, so I was going to fix that. He's not the one who said it. I don't know why my AI trying to blame Johan for something he didn't do. Even AI don't like Johan. Before she went to church almost every weekend, she was fitting. What does fitting mean? Fitting with someone or being someone's husband. I don't even know what that means. Now she gone to church and she forget all of her sins. Come on, man. Leave the man alone. Tired of her now. Well, I don't know what fitting means, but at the end of the day, like I said, every saint has a past. So she says she's gonna block us. Y'all behave now. I did not know he was such a brilliant artist, Alejandro. Oh, is he? I mean, he said he painted, but I thought he was talking about painting cars and boats. But I mean, I guess if you're one kind of painter, maybe you can transfer those skills. Lulu Clarkey says, I'm late to the program. Over 400 people. We got 392 over here, another 16 on IG. I'm late to the program. Are we discussing Crazy Carrie today? Nope, not really, Lulu. We just talked about the fact that the penal notice is in place and everyone, including her, should understand the seriousness of it. And the judge amended it to say exactly what you see there. That was not what it was in the draft. And so we respect what the court does. And that's it. Mm-hmm. All right. Johan is begging for brownies, says if you commit to making a weekly batch of your dry up brownies during the 4 weekends of World Cup, I'll consider it. Speaking of World Cup, when does it kick off? I know it's coming up because I got a lot of people messaging me about helping them with streaming and stuff. And I'm like, "Ugh, every 4 years you show up because it's World Cup time. Oh, hot tamales. So, anybody who's pulling for who? What's the vibe in terms of World Cup? Who's Lucille? Lucille deserves a knighthood. I have no clue who Lucille is. Oh, Miss Lucille here? Oh, because she was trying to defend you, poor thing. Good morning, Sandy. It blows my mind to hear that Amelia goes on what Amelia goes on with nowadays. I'm glad that she's found religion. Yes. Okay, so we read that already. No need to unlock your hand. He needs his own show where he can bring on who he wants and say what he wants. Stop hijacking your show. It is not all about him after all. Can we talk about something else besides your hand? Move on. What? Shots fired. Good morning, Miss Anne. There's no such thing as too many platins, says Richard. Hashtag, I love it. Even Miss Amelia got plead for your hand? What? Now this is, hell has frozen over today, folks. Stick a pin. Stick a pin. Miss Amelia. Her and Johan was cussing each other during the election, but now she says free him up. Yes, sir. What a heat. Oh my God. Somebody calling me in the next line. Let's see what's going on. Good morning. Oh, they hung up. So maybe they didn't want to call on the show. I don't know. She meant fighting with somebody. Oh, Mr. Amelia, you're a fighter? I mean, reformed fighter. You see, I would have never thought that. You so everything is glorious in the Lord. I never would have pegged you for a fighter. I would have pegged you for a lover, but not a fighter. Melanie House is here. Good morning, Mel. How you doing? Beautiful, Melanie. Says, you sure it's the same Alejandro? You're so wrong. She's like, aliens have kidnapped his body. Folks, it's Friday. I know radio listeners are like, what the hell kind of vibe are we on today? We are on a Friday vibe. Please free your hand. And they did a little thing that says, I'm free. I'm a little crazy man. All right, I'm going to put up a poll only because I'm curious about how many of you are really, this person says they need to talk to me about something urgent. Yeah, my boy Alejandro Dominguez Ebanks is a good painter. And yes, he does cars and boats. Lulu says, Sandy, did you take down her page? No, I told you I don't have access to her page. I don't even see it. But quite a few people told me yesterday that her page is down. So, whatever. Honey Jam. Jackie, it starts June the 11th. Aisle 2025 is going with England. Okay. Aliano says the World Cup is in June, but let's see the orange agent with the bad mind action caused to the event. Yeah, I'm understanding that ticket sales are very, very low. So that's not good. Have a good day, Mr. Amelia. Yes, be blessed, honey child. Don't be stressed. Missiles thrown at your hand. No sauce, says Dean. Good morning, beautiful Faith and Hope. Very Pat is here. Do not waste your time with no poll about Johan. Meaning, don't even bother because he's not going to get unblocked. Oh my gosh. Yes, sir. Don't post the poll in WhatsApp. Ain't nobody got time to be going back and forth. Post the poll here. But the problem with Lulu, the problem with that is a lot of people are not here watching. I mean, 400 people, over 400 people is still a lot, but we got like over 2,000 on WhatsApp. So, TikTok is still up, says Sophia. What a hot mess. There's nothing but carbs and sugar in Miss Amelia's plate. Yeah, boy. You know, Caribbean people. Y'all love all the wrong things. Y'all, including me, love all the wrong things. Ooh, YouTuber says no. Yes, please keep Johan off. He has a serious need to be complex mixed with narcissistic love of his own voice. Oh my gosh, that was like a lower gut punch. You know, when you're playing and you're fighting with your siblings or cousins or whatever, and somebody goes a little bit too low and hits you like below the belly button, that really hurts. YouTuber, I felt that one. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. I don't know. Oh, used to be fighting. Okay, I totally misread that. All right. Someone said 400 people have tuned in to hear you crucified. Prep. They were not in the discussion. No, man, Alejandro Angel is a phenomenal artist, but I don't think he's the guy that used to call in. I don't know. Oh. The minister is unable to be in the program to. I kind of was beginning to figure that one out. Yeah. Okay. Lots of messages coming in fast and furious. Hold on, honey child. Yes. What a mess. All right. Got more comments coming. Give me 1 second. You know what? Let's take a quick commercial break. Big shout out to the ESO folks. They have 2 surveys that they're doing right now. We ask you to please participate in both. If they come knocking at your door, it's actually mandatory that you participate. One is the labor force survey for 2026, and the other one is the annual business survey for 2026. So here's a little message about both of those.
The Economics and Statistics Office, ESO, is currently conducting the annual business surveys until June 12. The surveys collect information to answer questions like, how did the economy perform in 2025? In 2025, how much did foreign companies invest in the Cayman Islands? The surveys include all relevant entities that produce goods and services in the Cayman Islands. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the ESO. Remember, better data, better decisions, better business. For assistance in filling out the forms or for more information, visit eso.ky or call 244-4676 or 244-4600.
Hi everyone! Get ready for the Sir John A. Cumber Primary School PTA Annual Fun Fest happening Saturday, June 6th from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Sir John A. Cumber Primary School field. Enjoy face painting, bouncy houses, carnival games, horseback riding, and fireworks. Fun for the whole family, all for just $25, including entry and 1 meal. Tickets are available at the Sir John A. Cumber Primary School PTA office or online at ticketsplus.ky. Every ticket helps fund new playground equipment for our students. Don't miss it. We'll see you there.
If you're a parent right now, you already know the cost of living has gone up. Rent, childcare, groceries. When the cost of living rises, government must rise to meet it. And we have. Under the revised ECAP policy, our Early Childhood Assistance Program, we've increased funding to keep pace with what families are actually paying today for their children's early education. Who benefits? A father working every hour he can. A single mother doing it alone. A grandparent raising grandchildren they love. Maybe that's you. Up to 235 Caymanian children will benefit directly, and I want every single one of them to have the start they deserve. That is why we're here. If you've applied before and been disappointed, I encourage you to try again. If you've never applied because you assumed you wouldn't qualify, now is the time to find out. And if the funding didn't feel like enough before, it should now. Is your child 3 years old and Caymanian? You may qualify. Visit us at moeapplications.gov.ky and apply for the 2026-2027 academic year.
All right, folks. So make sure you apply if you're in need of the ECAP assistance. It has increased funding thanks to the minister and his budget, reforms and allocating some more assistance to those families that are in need. All right, the poll question is up on WhatsApp. Go ahead and participate. And let's see, I am a little bit curious. Ultimately, it may not do much in terms of the decision, but yeah. Okay, let me see here now. All right, beautiful folks. Let me just have a look. By the way, not for nothing, but speaking of polled questions, can we talk a little bit about what transpired yesterday morning with the Butterfield query, right? So we did a poll question yesterday about Butterfield, and OMG, what I can tell you is, hold on. Yes, hold on one second. Okay, so what I can tell you is, based on the comments that I was seeing in the, comment section yesterday here in the chat, I could tell that you guys were less than impressed with this announcement that Butterfield was going to basically be buying CIBC Caribbean. But I did not know that it was that bad. How bad is it? Sheesh, some peace. I see y'all on the chats. I've seen you now on the WhatsApp poll. You commented on the what's the other thing called? The Facebook story. Y'all love you some CIBC, but you're not that fond of Butterfield. And I'm low-key a little bit surprised by this. Oh my gosh. No, sir. I don't know what to say. Honestly, I was very, very surprised. Let me give you some stats. Hold on one second. So it seems like, although Butterfield is acquiring CIBC Caribbean, hold on one second. CIBC Caribbean has a much better reputation by far, it seems like, just based on public opinion, than Butterfield. So what does that now mean? Right? I'm curious as to how this changeover is going to happen. And, a lot of people are like, nope, the customer service is better at CIBC. The, getting a hold of people is easier at CIBC. Just like everything overall seems to be a better experience at CIBC. So what does this merger then do for the CIBC customers? Well, they're selling you that you're going to have access to more money. Give me one quick second here, folks. Just going to grab my little chair so we can switch it up just a tad bit.
The spring labour force and quality of life surveys conducted by the Economics and Statistics Office begin Sunday, April 26th. The labour force survey collects information on employment and unemployment in the Cayman Islands, while the quality of life survey gathers feedback on well-being, financial security, community belonging and overall life satisfaction. Trained interviewers with official ESO ID cards will visit randomly selected households. All interviews are confidential under the Statistics Act, and no individual information will be published. For details, call the ESO hotline at 5163329.
All right. So, quite frankly, it seems like most of you prefer, someone's asking for the WhatsApp number. You have to join the channel. Let me give you the channel link here at Lulu so that you can join. But yeah, most of you seem to actually prefer CIBC to Butterfield. Now, Miss Ann says here that she prefers Butterfield. I'm going to tell you, you're in the minority. Most people, it's the other way around. But I am curious to know. It would be very, very interesting to know how many customers each bank has. Is Butterfield a bigger bank than CIBC? Or locally, CIBC and Cayman? Because now this is the acquisition of CIBC Caribbean. I guess there's a CIBC Worldwide. Butterfield is purchasing CIBC Caribbean. So who has more customers? These are some of the questions that I honestly had about this. But it seems like the vast majority, and I'm telling you, the poll numbers were crazy. Hold on. Let me show you what the poll numbers say. Okay, so we did a question yesterday. After I saw your comments on the show, I thought, this is interesting. I would really, really like to know how many of you think that you're happy with this Bank of Butterfield takeover of CIBC Caribbean. Look at this. Hello. This is what you call a landslide. Hold on. Let me do the percentage here. Hold on one second. Pulling up my little virtual. All right. So basically 93%, that's humongous. That's a landslide. 93% of those who participate, you can still go participate in the poll, go look at the channel, says that they are not happy with this takeover or merger or whatever they're going to be calling this. Wow. That is a landslide. Oh my gosh. What a hot mess that is. Ay, ay, ay. No bueno. So 93% not happy. Public sentiment appears to be overwhelmingly negative about this acquisition. So where are the greatest concerns? Based on some people that I've spoken to, I think number one, service frustrations already exist. So there are those of you who say that you're frustrated with, not being able to contact people at Butterfield. They do things and don't communicate with you. Just general, mostly like customer service related things. So I think that this poll probably reflects some of those existing dissatisfactions with specifically that bank. And then others of you have said that, listen, you banked previously with them or other banks and you're perfectly happy with CIBC. You've been getting good customer service. You can contact your people. So you don't want any changes. Right? Now, they've said that there will be no loss of jobs. We'll see, because they always say that next thing, like, oh, we're going to close this branch. So let's keep them to it. They say that there's going to be no loss of jobs. This bank merger is going to mean a stronger regional and local bank, because now you have two of the major banks coming together and essentially merging into one. Customers are going to gain access to a larger branch network. Investment in technology, digital banking, and so on will be improved. But again, many of you saying, but Sandy, CIBC has a great app. Their tech is good. We don't like what Butterfield does. Butterfield is always having issues. And I was a little bit surprised by that because CNB and Butterfield, in my mind, have always been the forerunners when it came to the technology and what they were spending and how they were developing it. But I'll admit to you that in more recent times, I have been hearing very, very positive things about CIBC's banking system. Especially things that even my bank, you guys know I love me CNB, but I can't go and stop a credit card that might be subject to fraud. Like I have to contact someone at the bank. And that would be good if I could turn my own cards off and on. Or, I'm traveling and I can have certain protections right from the app itself. So this is very, very interesting. And I do believe that at the end of the day, we will have some interesting days ahead in the world of banking. So what are your thoughts on this? Have you had an opportunity yet to vote in the poll? If not, please go and do so. Anna says, Bank of Butterfield is not the best. Money talks there. CIBC adds a human element. And I've heard this a lot as well, Anna, from the perspective that people are like, you know what? Bank of Butterfield is more like wealth management kind of bank, right? So they are more concerned and interested in the rich folks, not the little average person. So I do wonder how that is going to change how CIBC operates. Is it going to all now be under the Butterfield branding? I guess, since Butterfield is acquiring CIBC, CIBC Caribbean will no longer exist. I'm assuming they're going to take all their branding away and then it's going to be Butterfield. Miss Mona says the CIBC app is the best. Overall, most of their services are customer friendly. Oh, Mr. Allard is here. Did you go vote in the poll, Mr. Allard? He says, if CMR unblocks one caller who disrespected your paying guests, and it wasn't so much about the disrespect as it was about the use of profanity. So Allard, let's make sure we're on the same page, but not Jonathan Powell. I never knew Jonathan's full name. Thank you so much for telling me. Are you his uncle or cousin or something? Who also was blocked and remains blocked for disrespecting your paying guests. Are you worried that OFREG or any other regulator can conclude that CMR operates the platform with bias or favoritism, especially if CMR unblocks prominent callers whose spouse work in a leading role with DART and has a lot to offer CMR? Oh, God. Allard, this is a perfect example of, as Caymanians would say, you chat too much and you don't come with your facts. Okay? But thanks for letting me know Jonathan's name. I never knew which Jonathan he was. I knew he wasn't Jonathan Adam. That much I knew because he wasn't using no big words. So, first of all, OFREG does not get involved in anything to do with favoritism, as you say. That's ridiculous. Secondly, Johan is not married. Okay, so he doesn't have a spouse. Thirdly, the person that you would be thinking of, his partner perhaps, and the mother of his child, does not work for the DART organization, and she has not worked for the DART organization for probably well over 4 years now. So you can't even get your facts up to date. And that was thirdly, I think. And fourthly, no one said that he was going to get unblocked. I said I would do a poll because I want to gauge public opinion about this. And fifthly, sometimes y'all just need to get a life. Okay? Okay. You'll be fine. Either way, you'll be perfectly fine. Damien says FCIB is his preference. Same thing. Mel says, I love FCIB. John LaRue says we were victims of fraud at Butterfield. Horrible follow-up, and they have zero stops in place to prevent it. This merger will not help CIBC customers. Ooh, yikes. Not good. Yeah, Yeah, I think that personal touch of being able to get a hold of someone who can help with a fraud situation. Like, I'm really surprised though, John, that Butterfield doesn't have those things in place. And, because they're such a big organization, obviously, if what you say is accurate, that was mishandled. Miss Alba, good morning. Damien says that FCIB was doing so well. Why are they being taken over? I don't know. I mean, mergers and acquisitions, Damien, happen all the time. A company being merged in with another company doesn't mean that entity wasn't doing well. Sometimes they could see that as an added benefit to their portfolio, right? And so, yeah, they're like, hey, CIBC got some good customers over there. We want them too. Who else was it that Butterfield acquired some years ago? Oh, yes. Remember when they took over, oh gosh, what was the name of that bank that used to be across from the wharf? HSBC? They took them too. Well, I think they took over, they did what was it? What were they called again? Did they do retail banking? But I know that they acquired their portfolio of assets or debt or something. Yeah, because then they started going after everybody who defaulted on loans over there. What a hot mess. But Sue says, I just hope that they don't start getting rid of their Caymanian staff. Let that poll run for a day. The bank one, it's up. They don't come down, so you can always go and vote. Damien wants to know, how do you identify Caymanian these days? Oh, Lord. Damien says FCIB has poor customer service. Majority of people don't really seem to think that, Damien, so maybe your experience is different. Isle says CNB app isn't great. Yeah, I think they need some upgrades now for sure. But they took a little while to even launch an app. So CNB, come on now, step on through. Miss Ann says, I've enjoyed excellent customer service at CIBC locally, and I'm totally impressed with their service I receive internationally. Proud customer. Isle says you can change your PIN on the app and real-time notifications when your card is used. You see, all of that you don't have at CNB. CNB needs to step it up. I agree, Lucky. Lucky says, get with the times, CNB. I mean, I get excellent and amazing service from CNB, so I'm not talking about anything like that. They have an amazing, portfolio, their loan process. I don't think any of them are easy, but, they get on with it. I wish CNB had Apple Pay and Google Pay like Butterfield. Oh, you can do that now with Butterfield? Really? Oh. Okay. And says, get with the time, CNB. You need, yep. HSBC, that's right. So there we go. Do you think 5 wires to the same place in Europe would not be a red flag, especially when the account had on its description no wires? Ooh. Somebody wasn't paying attention, John LaRue. I mean, the one thing I will tell you, it was only in more recent times, I think it was last year, that I actually had a breach with CNB, and I've been with them for a really, really long time, because they have always been like, they will block you out of an abundance of caution and make you get upset because you can't spend money at Walmart, as opposed to compromising your card. That has been the historical experience that I've had with them. So, but last year, someone managed to get through. And I tell you what, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. When they had the service here locally. Trinidad bought out CNB, the Trinidadian bank. Then the service went to the regional office. I actually found that the regional office was 24/7. They were on it. Bam, 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 bam. Now they've moved it back locally. I'm going to be honest with CNB. I think you have too much volume of transactions for a lot of your local people to be catching it. And quite frankly, a lot of this should be automated, right? There shouldn't be a person having to line item look at stuff. That nobody got that kind of time. You got to use technology now to flag certain things. And traditionally, like I said, CNB has been amazing at pre-flagging transactions and contacting customers about it. And if they can't get a hold of you, out of an abundance of caution, they would block your card, right? So if again, John LaRue, to your point, your account says no wires, you've never sent a wire from that account. Of course, he's talking about Butterfield, not CNB, to be clear. But, all of these would be red flags that should have allowed their system to know that, no, this can't be a transaction. You've never done a wire from that account before. Even if you had done a wire from that account, but this was a new wire, whatever, you would have thought their system would have picked up on it. So that's very interesting. They got to make sure that their systems are really up to par. Risa says the first move will be laying off Caymanians as is common practice. Now, they have promised that isn't going to happen, Risa, so we're going to keep an eye on things, but oftentimes that's exactly what happens. They got to cut the fat. El Rey says Butterfield's KYC requirements are way too much and their Canadian agents are overzealous at trying to implement it. Seems almost personal. Wow. And I mean, the KYC standard should be across the board, industry-wise. Quite frankly, they should be the same. Like one bank shouldn't be considering more than another. Why? Right? We know that we have to have these KYC policies in place because of everything from FACTA to FATC and all these, international bodies breathing down our necks. But honestly, I would think that there would be a pretty standard list of things that you need. There are some people that will fall under the category of enhanced due diligence, and that's fine. That's understandable, but you should know what those enhanced due diligence requirements are. I mean, every year I have to provide stuff to CNB, right? For my business accounts, because they keep a very close eye on everything. And I don't have no problem with that because I ain't got nothing to hide. So I don't really care. So now as certain things happen, I just automatically send it to them. I'm like, you know what? Shoot off a quick email. Here you go. Here's this document. Upgrade my file. The file must be this big. But okay, fine. I do my annual returns. I send it to them right away. They don't even got to ask for it. Renewal of business license. Here you go. Here's a new business license. Strong Will says that CNB and First Caribbean are the best banks. Island Pearl says CNB does not have card alerts that you have to turn them on. You have to turn them on in your notifications. So what I know is you can request it. But again, this is something you should be able to do from an app. I do think that you should make it that easy. But you can request it through the online portal, because every time I do a transaction, I get it on my phone. I get it both via email and text, so that when I'm traveling and I don't use my my SMS Cayman number, I'm still able to get it via email. And so I can see when a transaction is coming through on my phone and just keep an eye on transactions now myself. Because I was the one who caught that one. Somebody in the UK trying to use my card at a men's store, buying a suit or something ridiculous. So when I saw it, it took me probably about 20 minutes because I was taking a little afternoon nap. And I saw it. And I was like, who the heck is this buying? I'm like, Marlon, did you order something? He's like, honey child, I don't even have access to your account. I'm like, that's true. All right. Amelia says every time your card is compromised at CNB, it has to be changed. Very inconvenient to customers. Well, how else would they do it though, Amelia? Because they think that, okay, if this one company has your card or this one individual, a lot of times these scammers are sharing it amongst themselves. So I think you open yourself up to other people continually trying to use that card. And to be quite frank and honest, give credit where credit is due. I don't think anybody turns around a new card as quickly as CNB. Like literally the next day, they're like, your card is ready. And I'm just like, oh, it's ready already? So they turn it around very, 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 very quickly. So Anna says KYC is dependent on internal policies. Again, I would have thought across the banking industry that the policies would pretty much be the same. But yes, to Risa's point, there is risk assessment. So she says it should be risk associated with the client. based on a risk assessment, which will determine the client due diligence, simplified due diligence, or enhanced. That doesn't appear to be practiced by local banks. I think it is. I think it is based on risk, but maybe they're being a little bit, as Alvey says, overzealous, and everybody is getting like enhanced due diligence with Butterfield when that should not be the case. Really and truly. The vast majority of people should be looking at a more simplified due diligence process as opposed to enhanced, because again, because of their risk profile. But maybe there are people in Cayman, Risa and El Rey, who are more, especially for the politically exposed persons, the PEPs, maybe there's more of those because we're such a small country than we recognize. Yes, Auntie, in the app, and as well, if you log in through the browser, you can do it yourself. That's CIBC, right? I think that's a really nice feature. Lucky Body says, I remember when my CNB card got compromised in Dubai, I received my replacement card less than 2 weeks. Impressive considering the distance between Cayman and the UAE. Yeah, no, I think the turnaround on the cards I've always been impressed by. So, and also I'll tell you, having to go through the process once my card was compromised of getting my money back. And at that point they had spent maybe $800 or something. I can't remember. And that's why I tend not to leave money in that account. Like if I'm going to do a transaction, I put it in, use it, and then leave it with a very minimal amount. But sometimes, this time they caught me having some money in that account. But even the process of what I needed to do then to get my money back was very, very straightforward. It was one little form. Here's what happened. This isn't me. Sign it, send it back. And, no time they provided me with an update and returned my money. Vanessa says Scotiabank, they give you the debit card right away. Out of curiosity, do they still do those cards that have like the weird expiration dates that nobody wanted to accept at Scotiabank, or have they now changed that? Because for years, that was always a point of contention with so many people. All right, let's see what we got here. 936-2626. Phone lines open. Somebody else says Scotia's same day turnaround on cards. Okay. Let me see here now. Okay. Morning, Sandra. Don't identify me. How is it that Sariba is allowed to list this property for sale? That implies that it can be developed. There's nothing in the planning laws that would allow any kind of development on this property. Oh, let me see. North side, beachfront. Okay. Secluded paradise in the district of North Side. Offers a perfect mix of white sand and lush. This parcel offers sweeping. Okay. So there's a parcel of land that's right on the beach. And the question is, how can it be developed? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't say anything in here about it being developed. It just says the parcel offers sweeping views. I guess you could just sit there in your lawn chair and look at it too. That would be a sweeping view. But why can't it be developed? Because of what reason? You said planning wouldn't allow you to develop it? I don't have enough information here. I need more information on this one. Okay. I have some weird person messaging me from a 91 area code. Low key tapping her foot, laughing out loud. Put that in a mug. Okay, here's a good question about Butterfield. Hold on. Coming through. Still trying to get caught up on some WhatsApp messages. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me just have a quick look here. All right. Well, this is a very interesting comment. Let me just pull this up about the acquisition. Again, the majority of people seem to not really be all that in favor of it, which I think is interesting to say the least. And I kind of expected it to be more of a 50-50 split. I didn't expect it to be over the 90 percentile that were like, no, we're not happy with this. I think Butterfield needs to do a little bit of work. So I don't know. We'll see. Good morning, caller. Okay. El Rey say Butterfield's card replacement takes a long time, weeks. CNB is really quick. Why on earth would Butterfield's take so long? You see, this is the kind of stuff that I find so puzzling. For a bank that has so much money, because, you know, money gives you access to infrastructure, technology, you can spend it on all these things. What is Butterfield doing that is so different that isn't allowing them to turn things around quickly, to provide better customer service, to, you know, I'm just really, really surprised. I don't know. I don't know what to say. So it's crazy. Huh. Wow. Anybody really loves Butterfield? Oh my goodness. I think the Butterfield people obviously have some PR work to do. And not just PR work, but they actually need to probably sort out a few things. All right, give me 1 second. Okay. So this person says the real question surrounding Butterfield's acquisition of CIBC Caribbean is not whether the deal makes strategic sense for shareholders, but whether it benefits customers. In a banking sector where competition is already limited, further consolidation strengthens the position of the incumbent institutions. Consumers continue to face limited choice, weak protections, and little leverage. Yes. I haven't finished reading this yet, but I agree here that this is a valid concern, in fact, because Butterfield charges, I think now, is it $2? Somebody was saying this the other day. I can't swear by this because I'm not a Butterfield customer, but it's like $2 per internal transaction. Is that right? That cannot be right. I mean, that is low-key crazy. I think most banks, it's either 25 cents or 50 cents. Butterfield is charging $2. So does that mean now that when Butterfield gets this final acquisition of CIBC, that all of those little things, the CIBC fees, will now increase to match what Butterfield is charging? So this is the point that this listener to the program is making about when you have these consolidations, acquisitions, buyouts, whatever you want to call it, you give the consumers far fewer choices, and that is not good. And I have to agree, especially if Butterfield has, you know, worse payments amounts than what's it called? Than CIBC. Right? So I think that that's a valid question. Now, Anna says it's 30 cents for internal and $2 for domestic. That's expensive. Why are we paying these kind of fees? Now, first of all, remember there was a time when they would tell you, oh, do it online because it's free. And we're like, okay. Right now that we've got apps, we're getting more acclimated to doing things online. We're like, yes, I understand how to use my little app. I can do a transfer myself. There's no need to go into the bank, which means that they will save money with the amount of staff that they have to have at the counter. The more of us that are actually using online banking, the easier it should be. And then they start now allocating all of these fees to the online banking system when it used to be free. Now, listen, I understand better than anybody else that these systems can be expensive. They're going to cost money. It's not going to be cheap. I get it. But $2 for a domestic transaction? How is that any different than an internal transaction in terms of what your systems have to do? Jeez on peace. No, sir. That's ridiculous. IBK Mannion 345 says Butterfield is toe teeth. Risa says there's no charge for transferring to your own account. Well, thank God. I imagine they can probably start that next. $7 for one statement. Is that a statement online that you do the work yourself, or where are you getting that statement from? No, sir. Check CIBC, you can deposit up to $4,000, and Scotia, you can deposit or withdraw up to $5,000 a day. I'm not sure I understand that. I'm sure you can deposit whatever you want, but is that from? And then somebody was saying that with Butterfield, the apps the deposits are still like manually done or something. I don't know. Some of it sounded crazy to me. I was like, what? So Vision 2021 says for making a withdrawal from CNB ATM with a CIBC card, it's $4. Wow, that's a lot of money. Mellofella says, good morning, Sandy. Butterfield charges $2 for domestic EFTs, 30 cents for internal transfers. Yes, they charge 1% for withdrawals from your U.S. accounts. And I'm not sure why any bank would be charging for internal transfers. Exactly. I don't know either. Scotia Bank says Vanessa charges $1 every time you do an internal transfer to a different bank. Well, that's not internal. Internal is within the bank. EFTs are across banks. So that's domestic in Cayman, but it's a domestic EFT. So they're charging $1 and then Butterfield is charging $2. Wow. So Irvlin says that Scotiabank charges you for everything, transfers and deposits over the counter. Yeah, but because they always said that, right? Over the counter. We don't want you coming in. We want you to do it online. Then they started charging us for online as well. What a hot mess. All right, let's continue with this very interesting comment. The irony, they say, is that the only visible competition among banks often seems to be in the quality of their customer service, and the bar is already remarkably low. If this acquisition is to be viewed as a success, the public deserves to hear exactly how customers will be better off, not just how the combined institution will be stronger. Mm-hmm. I was a customer at HSBC. Their customer service was beyond exceptional. Once Butterfield acquired them, pure disappointment. You see? What a hot mess. Wow. All right. Anna says, you pay a bill charge for everything. They were charging for your own transfers, but if you have another account, you get charged. This move does not protect consumers. We are screwed. Unfortunate indeed. Wow. Very, very unfortunate. Yikes. Wow. Makes you think about this. Again, what's the benefit to the consumer? And, we're talking about, should government have something to say about what these banks are charging and how they're nickel and diming us on every single thing. This person says, I don't think anyone's fees can top CNB. They're charging to walk past their building. Christ. No. And hush about Butterfield. They shouldn't even be allowed to operate here. Was there just a discussion about monopolies in Cayman? True and interesting. Why would this be in our best interest? How is this fostering healthy competition? Madness. Honey child. Good morning, Miss Sandra. I hope you're doing well. Scotiabank issues a new debit card the same day. Well, good. Finally, something Scotia doing right. Because boy, when it comes to tech, they always seem to be behind. $2 is very right. Butterfield to Butterfield. Butterfield ATM deposits are done in an envelope. Okay. CNB ATM deposits are straight cash. What a hot mess. Thank you guys so much. Some very interesting comments coming in. Just give me 1 second here. Let me just see. Okay. This is another one that has just come in. Give me a second. Gonna grab this one. All right. Okay. Fast and furious in the comments. I'm keeping up. If they have to get the cards from a home office off the island, it will take longer to wait for the card to arrive. But most of these should be able to I would think, they should have the capability to do these locally. Why are they still getting these from overseas? That's wild. That is wild. So this person from this 91 area code, is there staff nurse jobs available? Well, why are you asking me? I don't own a hospital. Why are you asking me about staff and nursing jobs? Oh, these poor people are ridiculous. They just randomly find CMR's number online and they're like, oh, I want to come work in the Cayman Islands. I'm just like, and you and every Tom, Dick, Ala, Abula, Samantha, Deanne, that ain't got nothing to do with me. No, sir. Morning, Sandy. Actually, I'm more worried that Butterfield is making the right move financially by this takeover. I have been a customer at Butterfield from the time it was Washington Bank and have had no issues. So they're more worried about Butterfield. Washington Bank? When was that? I've never even heard of Washington Bank. Oh my goodness. Okay. All righty. Here's another comment that has just come in. Give me 1 second here. Would CIBC customers be able to move to another bank if they chose not to go to Butterfield without penalties? I'm no customer of either bank, but I have friends and faith with both. And from all that I'm hearing, the CIB customers are not happy. A number of Butterfield customers I know of were exploring other local banks to move to. So here's the thing. And I suppose this really comes down to all of us should be thinking about probably local banking diversification. Of course, banks, if you're a good customer, they want to keep you, which makes sense from a banking relationship. But there is a valid argument that perhaps you should have an account at more than one institution to kind of diversify yourself a little bit. Now, you can go to any bank you want. Nobody can stop you, for sure, from moving from one bank to the next. But I do have to wonder, because when you talk about penalties, normally that has to do with loan facilities, right? And every single bank in Cayman, whether it's credit union, which is technically not defined as a bank, but in most of our heads, we think of it as a bank, or anybody else, if you have a loan facility with these banks and you move your loan facility, in most instances, you're going to be penalized for the move. You're penalized for early payoffs, for moving mortgages or loans. And so that would be, I think, probably the biggest concern if you're trying to move. So yes, there will always be a penalty if you move from one bank to another. Just because they're doing this mandatory acquisition doesn't mean that they're going to waive those penalties. What I would say, though, is if you're thinking about moving, have a look at what these institutions are offering, because they want your money, they want your loans, they want your portfolio. And I can say this as someone who was recently, someone was going to take me if I allowed them to. They were offering some very, very competitive things from another bank, and they came strong. And I said, in all fairness to my bank, I need to let them know, put on the table what's being offered. Now, because my bank wants to actually keep me, they came back and said, we will match what's being offered to keep you right where you are. And I said, okay, well, that saves me paperwork. So I'm not going to do extra paperwork for no reason if I'm actually happy, and you can match it. So, but if you're not happy, so if this acquisition now changes things for you and you're a CIBC customer, talk to your, I would say talk to your people though at CIBC. Because I'm sure they may know something, although I say this and then I'm going to retract it. I was going to say, I'm sure they would know something about how the transfer, or the acquisition rather, is going to work, and they can be helpful in reassuring you that you will still get the same level of service that you become used to. But whilst Butterfield was sending out notifications to their customers that this takeover was happening, CIBC people didn't know. Hear me good now, CIBC staff did not know that this announcement was coming down the pipeline and that this was happening. I guess the high level, like obviously the CEO knew, right? But the people working the bank, Butterfield is sending out notices to their customers about the acquisition. CIBC customers didn't get no such notice. So you already see, in my humblest of opinions, that it looks like there's going to be a, uneven playing field here when it actually comes to who is in control, right? Butterfield is acquiring CIBC. And already you see Butterfield doing certain things, customer notification, staff notification, so on. CIBC is in the dark about what's happening. That can't be a good feeling, to be honest. I don't like that. This observer says, with Cayman having no longer having a local bank, would be interested to hear you and your listeners' thoughts on support for a new locally owned and operated retail bank. We must be one of the only countries in the world that does not have a local bank. Wow. What are your thoughts on this? This is perhaps a great poll question. I think the difficulty about this is that owning and operating a bank is not as easy as you would think. It's a very different kind of kettle, right? Very different type of tea that you would be dealing with there. So I think that in the world of big business and conglomerates and takeovers and all this sort of thing, this is, it's tough to start a local bank, to get the required funding that you would need to have the ability to get the loan portfolio together to be able to offer, because you know how banks work. They make money off of interest. You got to be able to loan money. In order to loan money, you got to have money. I mean, so the level of capitalization that would be required for that, I don't even know. So Damien said that Washington was bought by Bank of Butterfield back in the mid 1990s. Wow. I've never even heard of this Washington Bank before. But yeah, I mean, it sounds great, but I think it's a lot more difficult than that. And who has the money? Which of y'all are kind of rolling with that kind of money? Listen, we're not talking about a couple $1 million. You could be technically a millionaire, have a couple $1 million, and that does not mean that you really have the money to start up a bank. So I get what the person is saying is collectively, if Cayman's richest of the richest would get together, they could do it. However, let me also say this. Because we have had local banks, and the one local bank that we had, what was it called again? First Caymanian Bank or whatever. Look at how that being a local bank allowed that to fail, because you had people sitting on the board like McKeever Bush. And his hands were, as a board member, he was in politics on the board, and his hands were mixed up in all kind of stuff. And that bank went under because of poor management. And perhaps this is one of the concerns then, if you have a local bank, all of a sudden, every Tom, Dick, and Harry think that they can be rolling up in there. Every E-Banks, Rivers, and Smith want to roll up in there, but, I could get a loan because my papa name is so-and-so, and he sits on the board, or, CNB ran a much tighter, more effective ship. That's why, the acquisition was of them by the Trinidadians was lucrative and made sense. But we also see the opposite would have happened with First Cayman Bank, where a local bank did not succeed, really because their standards were not at the international level. Maybe they didn't have that international level oversight. And so that's something to be considered as well. I think banking as a business is a lot of risk that you have to be willing to take on. Shannon said, did Butterfield staff know? I haven't heard from anybody that works at Butterfield, because I don't even think I know anybody who works there anymore. But I'm assuming that they know if they were sitting there drafting letters for customers or drafting an email. So Anita says that CNB charges $5 for a transfer within their own bank. Hope that their staff, especially their tellers, are paid fairly. I don't think that that's accurate, Miss Anita. Where did you get that from? I bank with CNB, and I've never seen that charge. Transfer within the own bank? You mean at the counter? Like if you go in at the counter, I think all of them are charging you $5 for that. But if you're doing it from your app, no. This other person says, I think it was a sad day when CNB got sold, and especially to Trinidad Bank, as their jurisdiction doesn't have the best rep. Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, though, to be fair, I don't see where any Caymanians have lost their jobs. I also know that that comment just threw me for a loop there. That's so weird. It's about a politician. I'm like, huh? What? That don't make no sense. I don't think he'd be eligible for political office if that was the case. Anyway, Lord have mercy. What was I saying? No. That $5 might be a counter transaction, but that's not an online transaction. And I think that's the going rate for counter transactions. That's why they encourage you. Although I've done deposits and stuff at the counter and I don't pay nothing. It's like when you go to customer service and you have to like order drafts and stuff like that, you have to pay. Stick a pin. CNB, and I'm wondering if other banks are doing this. So this is a question for you guys. CNB has now done away with international drafts. So it started this month because sometimes I order international drafts to pay people overseas. And apparently they're no longer going to be doing international drafts. Can you still get international drafts at CIBC, RBC, Scotia, and Butterfield? I'm wondering if CNB is the first to have done this because it is a bit peculiar. So yeah, weird. Very, very unusual. So do let me know. All right. Thank you so much. Okie dokie. Let's see now. We got another one that's come in. Okay. Let's have a read of this one. And then we're not going to go into too much overtime today because I still got guests visiting, family's still here. And so we are going to be out and about today doing some stuff. Plus, I've got an interview with Ms. Marla that we're going to do at the new CMR studios a little bit later on this afternoon. First Caribbean Bank used to be located next to Pizza Hut where Rubus gas station. Yeah, I knew it was on West Bay Road somewhere. Damien says, Miss Anita, that's an internal in-person transaction, not online fee. Yes. All right. This person says, and you can tell that the people in hell want water. We are full, not even space for message. And to quote Sandy's favorite MP, John, turn to your yard. They don't know because they don't intend to keep them. At least that's what it insinuates. Oh, like why CIBC staff didn't know? No, sir. It's going to be a hot mess. That's what it's going to be. SEMA should not approve it. Sounds great. Oh, like Christ. Not even Butterfield employees want to bank with them. That isn't great. BOB is, it's 9:30. So we can say BOB is dog shit. Wow. Some strong words and feelings there about the Bank of Butterfield. Damn. Lord. Mindy says CNB fees are ridiculous. They charge 1.2% for bulk cash processing for cash deposits over $30,000 per month on a business account. Do other banks do this as well? You know what, Mindy? Maybe we need to do, and this is something I can probably put my mind to getting done, is do a comparison of all of, they should be online, right? Do a comparison of all of the bank fees, what they charge, and then figure it out. But I don't know, do they tell you all this stuff online? Probably not, unless it's applicable to you. But if we can get like a fee sheet from all of them, I think maybe it's time to compare who is charging what at what local banks. Most people are going to think, oh, well, that doesn't impact me because I'm not going to $30,000 to do. But let me ask you a question, Mindy, because I'm curious about this. What sort of business, and again, I know it could be a lot of different businesses, but what sort of businesses are still doing that degree of bulk cash transactions, like deposits? Are you not having customers pay online, pay through credit cards, through bank transfers and stuff like that? Y'all are still dealing with that amount of cash? Wow, that's crazy to me. Huh. Paul, good morning. Says, good morning, Auntie. CMR audience, Butterfield Bank was Bermuda's first bank set up in 1904. The bank is now owned by foreign investors. As is the case everywhere. I got to tell you the truth. Damien is saying maybe grocery stores. Yeah, the grocery stores I can understand. Because I guess a lot of people still pay in cash at grocery stores. So, but who else would be having that kind of cash? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Grocery store is the one business that I would say, yes, that I would understand. Tartarian says that people forget that banking is a business. It's simple. Stay away from it. Shannon says that Butterfield was always a Bermudian bank. Well, what he's saying now is even in Bermuda, it's actually not Bermudian anymore. It's owned by foreign investors. Okay. Another commenter has some interesting points to share. Let's have a look at this one. And then we're going to start to wrap up so I can get on the road today. Oops. Give me 1 second here. So this person says, I worked for BOB, Bank of Butterfield, for about 6 years, about 30 years ago, and had my accounts there with them until about 2 years ago, when suddenly I get a very harshly worded email from them advising me that I had 30 days to find another bank to move my personal accounts, business accounts, credit cards, and mortgage, unless I provided them with some US information that I didn't have and have never had, but it was never an issue for them for the past 30 years. Oh, hold on. I didn't do the more on this one. Hold on. Oh, hold on. I think we have to take this one in bits. 1 second. Let me screen grab that because I didn't see the read more. Oh my gosh, they sound low-key aggressive and loco. Who does that? So, but this is what this person said. It's happened to them. Okay. Unless, right, I provided them with some US information that I didn't have and had never had, but it was never an issue for them for the past 30 years. It was a very stressful time as they were going to freeze my accounts and prohibit access to my money, etc., if I didn't comply and or move to another bank. At the time, I was overseas for a family medical emergency, so I was already frazzled, and their continual harassment brought on me real and physical anxiety attacks that were debilitating and came out of nowhere. I bit the bullet and started the process to get the US documentation they required that I didn't want and never had. I'm assuming this is because you're a US citizen. Let's continue reading. That process took 2 months and included 3 submissions as my documents kept getting lost. I had to attend the US offices on 6 different occasions, all while dealing with said medical situation that already had me in and out of the hospital with my very sick child. When I finally presented this document, I was told I had 30 more days to move my accounts. No explanation, no acceptance of the document they insisted I get. What? I was going to say, before we got to that last part of the story, I was going to say that I would have, when they came with that, I would have moved everything right away. But you see, this level of thing, I'm going to be honest with you, I have heard, you're not the first person that I've heard that out of the blue, seemingly out of the blue, Butterfield will contact customers and put demands on them and tell them, oh, they have to close their account with like literally no notice whatsoever. And that low key is just rude. That's not how you do banking. That's not how you do business. Quite frankly, you get a lot of angry customers pulling stunts like this. And the customer doesn't get any explanation. They don't understand what's going on. I think that is so incredibly unfair. Anyway, let's keep reading. I went to CNB, which has brought a level of frustration as they are not as advanced as Butterfield is and have significantly and negatively impacted my business operations. Question, does any other bank charge a percentage to withdraw US dollars? CNB charges for every $1,000 withdrawal of my US account, not buying US from a CI account. Had to pay for a new evaluation for a mortgage at CNB, plus a ton of fees to set up the business and merchant accounts, etc. Butterfield really put me out of pocket and never gave a reason. And unfortunately, sad to say, but they never will. This is their MO. And I've heard this sort of thing on more than one occasion about how Butterfield treats local customers. And that's why people say that they're not really for the average, even business owner that, unless you got millions and billions in the bank, they don't really care about you as a customer. That has been more or less the sentiment for a lot of customers here in Cayman. And some customers like this person, 30 years with a bank. You would think that you could have a conversation with someone in the banking institution who could explain to you what on earth is going on and how this works. Alric, good morning, says laundromats. They making that kind of money? 30 grand a month? Yes, sir. I better get into the laundry business. Irvin says the UK is cashless. We need to do the same. Shannon says, oh no, that's a horrible idea. What is going cashless? Damien says, well, when a natural disaster strikes and you need cash, what are you going to do? Well, cashless never means that you don't have access to cash, obviously. But it means that more and more we need to move into that digital space. There was an article recently, I think it was the Jamaican Observer or Gleaner, I'm not really sure which one, but I saw it in one of the Jamaican papers. I only read actually, hold on. I feel like I only read the headline. You know what? I bet you Marlon sent me this story. He sends me articles every once in a while. Hold on. I think this might have been a story from him. Let me just scroll through my messages with hubby and see what he said. Because it was saying something about basically the digital, like the businesses in Jamaica, the banks, whatever, they're getting more digitally ready, or the consumers are, but there's a lag in what the banks are making available on the digital side. Somewhere I saw that article. I thought it was Marlon that sent it to me, but scrolling through all of her daily messages. Maybe it wasn't him. I thought it was him. Okay. Nope. No. Okay. Well, somewhere I saw it. And I thought it was very, very interesting. And I meant to read the article further. But, he sent me a nice podcast to listen to about the Bible is not a policy manual. Christians reckon with immigration under Trump. Oh, yes, let me click on that because I do want to listen to that. That's one of my NPR podcasts. Very, very interesting one indeed. Weird. Okay. Yeah, this person went on to say, I just wasn't in a space that I could pick up everything and move at the time. Too much upheaval in my life at that time. I chose to comply, thinking it would allow me to stay. So sad. What a mess. All right. Okay. Well, that's where we are. We are certainly going to, I think, be keeping an eye on this situation. By the way, in defense of, I don't know who said it earlier, but someone messaged in defense of Cindy Welcome and said, who on earth were they talking about? Because they said that she worked at A.L. Thompson's and she never stole from them. They need to come off of her and focus on Amelia. Simple, no life fools. So she said, please do not be mixing her up in anything. This has nothing to do with her and it's simply not true. Okay, honey child. All right. I think that's all we got for now. We'll leave it there. Folks, please have yourselves a good weekend. Be safe over the weekend. There's lots of activities that are happening. You don't have to choose cartel. You can choose to do the church march for Jesus. That's available on Saturday. And then you can also do Art Week, Cayman Art Week. The bus tour is going to happen on this Saturday. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go to that this year because I've got prior appointments scheduled. So that's not going to happen. But it is a fun time. Gigi enjoyed it so much. because it really just is a lot of fun. And they take you to all the different art galleries on island, all the different locations. It's like a set tour, and it's like super, super nice. And yeah, so please, whatever you choose to do, have a safe weekend. And oops, call too late, honey child. Why y'all like to wait until I'm saying goodbye to be picking up the phone to call me? Okay, we gotta go. All right. Damon says, I hope Cartel has some free lobster. What? Why free lobster? Oh, Lord have mercy. Anyway, folks, have a beautiful weekend. Anna says, unless you have Esquire to your name, Butterfield ain't for you. Lord Jesus. Butterfield, you got a lot of reputational stuff to sort out. Mellow Fellow says that Butterfield charges 1% for over-the-counter withdrawals on your U.S. account. I really cannot understand it. And the UK and Lloyd's of London is a major reason why fuel is so high, says Damien. Huh? What does that have to do with banks? Anyway, you guys have an amazing weekend, and we will see you on Monday morning. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.